Radical.
Former President Trump was shot. He was shot at one of his political rallies. He is alive, but he's a couple inches away from not being alive. He was shot in the right ear. And I'm looking at pictures now of the aftermath where there's some pooling blood running down his right cheek. And he's got his fist up in the air. This picture, this image, might be emboldened on t-shirts in the future. This picture, this image, might be on the cover of several magazines. The gravity of this moment can't be understated. I don't know in any of our lifetimes if we've seen an assassination attempt on a former president or a sitting president. Donald Trump will be the president. If he continues to run, I don't see any reason why he would suspend and end his campaign. Donald Trump is basically going to be the president. Outside of something happening I don't think anything can happen to keep him from inside the White House. Politically. I mean, talking about the gravity of the moment, talking about all the political implications, I'm not going to go into all of it, but this is all you need to know. I would say it would be shocking, or you could say it's just a matter of time in this hyper-political environment that is going on in America right now. It's only a matter of time. Some nut with a fucking gun takes it out and tries to take out a presidential candidate. Can this be helped? Can this be fixed? I think it's just a situation where you have two parties that understandably are trying to win and get majorities and get in the White House. But I don't think there's ever been a time where red and blue is so fucking disconnected. And this is what happens, is you have all these commercials, which there's nothing new on that, but you have all these fucking talking heads and all these shows, whether it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, or what have you. You have all these shows where they're basically equating the candidates to Hitler. Oh, we got to beat this candidate. We've got to beat tyranny and all this kind of shit. Newsflash. This guy Trump, love him, hate him, indifferent to him, he was in office for 4 years. And guess what? There wasn't World War III. The rivers didn't run red with the blood of every man, woman, and child. It was not absolute chaos. It was, for me, it was like mostly like it was. And, somebody else gets elected and somebody else gets elected. And usually you don't notice, if you really think about it, you don't notice gigantic shifts in things. On some things, a little bit, but you don't. So I'm just telling you right now, if you are hyped up and you think that your country is going to be lost because one of two almost equally corrupt parties that are bought and paid for by special interest gets elected, it's mostly going to be status quo for the most part. So you have a big problem in the social discourse around presidents that helps feed into this. Because guess what? If you have all these people on these talking head shows, some famous ones like Stephen Colbert or Jon Stewart, equating Donald Trump. I think recently they said Joe Biden basically said when he was asked, how will you feel if you lose to Trump come, January. And he says, well, I'll feel good if I gave him my best shot. And then Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert says, no, that's not how you should feel, man. Come on. And then they equated something to like around the Hitler time, how somebody would have felt then. And I'm like, no, this ain't fucking, Trump is not fucking Hitler, all right? Biden's not Hitler. So we need to just go ahead and stop that bullshit of trying to tie Hitler to current candidates. All right? We need to just keep his ass buried because no Democrat or Republican is Hitler-esque. But you have all this fucking name calling like that, and it gets people amped up, hyped up. And I would like to see a situation to where both parties kind of, I don't know, just try to get along a little fucking bit, just a little bit, work together on some legislation for the American people, and quit trying to, proverbially cut each other's throats and, kneecap each other just because they're just so desperate for political power. I would like to get to a situation to where there's some bipartisanship on some stuff. But it seems like in America, any of you, that are not American listening, seems like in America, we have a situation where there's constant campaigning. The minute somebody gets elected, they start campaigning and campaigning. It's not about trying to work with the other party to get things done for the American people. It's about constantly campaigning, getting yourself in power, and ultimately, holding up the status quo and not really doing anything substantial. That's kind of how it is, I feel like, in America. I don't have a lot of details on the shooting. I didn't really plan uploading this. It's just, I thought it deserved some commentary. Because it is an event, it is a moment that will change. It will change a lot of things around these presidential candidates going around to these places that don't have a lot of security. This is a situation where I was told, and I've listened to some people, some channels talk about it a little bit. I was told from someone I was talking with in a Walmart that there was the shooter and he was on a rooftop and he was neutralized, but not before he killed a spectator and he shot another spectator that I think is in critical condition. And of course he shot Trump. I don't know the details. I don't know from which angle the bullet came. Thinking it came from the back behind him. I don't know if Trump was of course, probably, yes, the main target, assassination attempt. It's just crazy to say that, assassination attempt. And then some spectators were just wrong place at the wrong time. Now, the covering of this was weird because you go to a CNN video upload and they downplayed it. They said he was injured in an incident at a rally, but it didn't instantly say assassination attempt. Well, what the fuck else do you call getting shot in your ear but an assassination attempt? Maybe they were hoping at CNN it wasn't an assassination attempt because politically, like I said, he is going to be the next president. Barring him not wanting to run and not, he could possibly, there's a situation where he could sit down with his family and say, this shit ain't worth it. This shit ain't worth it. I can't tell you if I was in a situation and I got shot, almost killed. Think about it like this. There's only a couple inches between your ear and your brain, man. He could have had one go right through his brain and he could be gone. What goes through your mind when that happens? He held up his fist in defiance after that, so I have no reason to believe he's not going to continue to run. If he continues to run, we have a Republican National Convention. We have the election in 4 months away. There's no way this is not going to help his chances. And he's already ahead of Biden. This is not going to easily coast him to being the president. So like politically? Like, do you just throw in the towel? I know the Biden campaign has held back on airing political ads, which is a classy move because maybe it's a calculation. They're pausing it. Maybe I don't know if the Trump campaign is pausing their political ads also. This is uncharted territory. Well, what happens in a situation when there's an assassination attempt on a former president who's running to become current president? But that's all I got to say about that. Truly just, in a bad way, a historic moment. And hopefully this is not going to be repeated. One more thing. It is sad in this moment. You have one president currently in office, because we remember these moments and we remember these statements from sitting presidents. Biden had 2 to 3 minutes where he talked about it. He summed it up. He talked about how he tried to get in contact with Donald, and when asked if it was an assassination attempt, he didn't outright admit it. He wants more information about it. I don't see what kind of information. Seemingly, I would say, yeah, it seemingly seems like an assassination attempt. When somebody's sitting at the podium and they get shot in the ear, pretty sure that's an assassination attempt. Pretty sure. Hear me kind of moan. I didn't accidentally moan my words a little bit. Sorry about that. But that happens constantly with Joe. He slurred through the whole thing. Maybe he had a teleprompter. I'm not sure. But in these moments, you remember the comments of a sitting president. And it couldn't be any more fucking pathetic. And I know, because of his brain, because he has dementia, he can't help it. But in this moment, you can't tell me that they couldn't. I don't know what they could do. Like, his mind's gone. So when they talk about this moment, they probably won't play a lot of Biden's clips because he just tripped over every fucking word. And his brain is so gone. You're telling me, Joe, you can't hold it the fuck together? You can't hold it together and slow down your words and concentrate the last brain cells you have to talk for 3 minutes in serious fashion about this? It's another thing. What happens to these late night talk shows? What happened? You have Seth Meyers, you have Jimmy Kimmel. What happens? They can't do the Trump impersonation anymore. Right? They can't do that. So there's a pause on talking about the politics, because you have all these late nighters that's going to have to eat crow and basically not apologize, but they're going to have to and maybe some of them do definitely worry about it. Maybe some of them don't. But it's just a weird situation. You understand? Like, you're not going to see any of these people comparing him to Hitler anymore, because maybe that's not good for our discourse. You think? Like I said, maybe it's not. So maybe we need to ramp down the discourse and comparing these people to people like that, like I said. And positively, I'm not holding my breath, but maybe this will actually cause a lot of things, at least in the moment, to ramp down a little bit. And maybe there could be, a unifying moment in America. That would feel nice and warm and fuzzy for like a minute, like a hot minute it would. But yeah, I just wanted to give some quick thoughts on this.